You're always the one texting first. You send that good morning message and wait. You share something funny and she replies with LOL 3 hours later. You ask how her day was and get left on read. Here's what's eating at you. You feel like you're chasing someone who's walking away. But here's the truth no one talks about. You don't get her to text first by texting more. You get her to text first by changing how she feels when you're not texting. Most men think silence means giving up, but silence, when used correctly, becomes the most powerful message you never send. Let me explain the psychology behind this. Every time you text first, you're solving a problem for her. The problem of wondering about you, the problem of missing you, the problem of feeling uncertain about where she stands with you. When you always text first, you become predictable, and predictability kills curiosity. Think about it like this. When you know exactly when the sun will rise, you don't stay up to watch it. But when something becomes unpredictable, when it might not be there tomorrow, suddenly it has emotional gravity. Silence isn't the absence of communication. It's the presence of mystery, and mystery creates investment. Attention rewards are addictive when they're rare. Right now, you're probably giving her your attention like it's free. You text her the moment something reminds you of her. You respond to her stories immediately. You're always available when she needs validation. Here's the psychological reframe. She's not taking you for granted because she doesn't care. She's taking you for granted because your attention has no scarcity value. When something is always available, the human brain categorizes it as low priority. But when something becomes limited, when it might not be there next time, that's when we start to pursue it. Until she starts wondering where your attention went, she'll never feel compelled to send the first message. The person who invests less controls the dynamic. Every time you text first, you're making an investment of time, of energy, of emotional labor, and she's receiving that investment without making one herself. This creates what psychologists call an investment imbalance. The person who invests more becomes more attached. The person who invests less becomes more detached. But here's what happens when you stop investing first. She starts to notice the silence. She starts to wonder why you're not texting. She starts to feel like maybe she should be the one reaching out. And the moment she sends that first text, she's made an investment. And investments create attachment. Uncertainty creates obsession. When you always text first, you're answering questions she never had to ask. Is he thinking about me? You answered that by texting. Does he still care? You answered that by checking in. Where do I stand with him? You answered that by being consistent. But when you create gaps in communication, when you don't text for a day, or 2, or 3, you create what psychologists call a curiosity gap. Her brain starts filling in the blanks. Why hasn't he texted? Is he busy, or is he losing interest? Should I text him? And here's the key. The human brain is wired to seek closure. When there's an unanswered question, we become obsessed with finding the answer. She needs to know she still has you, without knowing for sure. Here's something most men don't understand about women. They want to feel chosen, but they also want to feel like they're choosing. When you always text first, you're making it clear that you're choosing her, but you're not giving her the opportunity to choose you back. This creates what I call social proof anxiety. Deep down, she starts to wonder, if he's always chasing me, maybe I'm the best he can do. But when you pull back, when you don't text first, she starts to think, wait, maybe he has other options. Maybe I need to make sure I'm still his first choice. And that's when she starts to chase. The absence of your presence makes your presence more powerful. Think about your favorite song. If you played it on repeat for 24 hours straight, you'd get sick of it. But if you don't hear it for months, and then it comes on the radio, it hits different. Your communication works the same way. When you're always texting, your words lose their impact. But when you create space, when you pull back, and then you finally do text, it carries more weight. It means more. It creates more emotion. She remembers how it felt when you weren't texting, and now she doesn't want to go back to that feeling. So she starts texting first to make sure you're still there. Here's what this really comes down to. You don't make her chase by pulling away. You make her chase by becoming the question she can't stop asking herself. When you always text first, you're the answer to a question she never had to ask. But when you create mystery, when you become unpredictable, you become the question that keeps her up at night. What is he thinking? Does he still want me? Should I text him? And the only way to answer those questions is to text you first. Most men are afraid of silence because they think it means giving up. But silence isn't surrender. Silence is strategy. The men she texts first aren't the ones who text the most. They're not the ones who are always available. They're not the ones who make their feelings obvious. The men she texts first are the ones who created space for her to miss them. The men she texts first are the ones who made her wonder. The men she texts first are the hardest to forget. You want her to text first? Stop solving the problem of missing you. Let her feel it. Let her sit with it. Let her do something about it. The men she texts first aren't the loudest. They're the hardest to forget.